So will AI steal all of the cybersecurity jobs that you're trying to go for? Well, the answer is yes. But in this video, I'm going to reveal 4 game-changing strategies that allow you to stay ahead of the curve and beat artificial intelligence. Hi, my name's AJ. I've been in cybersecurity for the last 9 years. And on this channel, we teach all things cybersecurity for beginners. So let's get into it. First of all, then, AI is already here. So I work as a cybersecurity analyst. I work in a security operations center. And over the last year and a half, I've noticed that many of these tools are starting to be integrated into security operations center environments. So ChatGPT, I'm sure you're aware of, but the ones that you want to be focusing on and actually get experience with are tools like Tines, Talk, even D3 Security and Intezer. So what these are kind of workflow automation tools, and D3 Security is actually moving towards kind of a AI agent tool for security operations centers. And what these tools are doing then are attempting to actually improve the actual experience in the security operations center by optimizing certain processes. So one example of that then, so if you're not aware, a SIEM, so cybersecurity analyst like myself uses a SIEM. And what a SIEM does, imagine a network, all the device logs on that network, they will get pushed into the SIEM or the back end of the SIEM into the log ingestion platform. And then the Microsoft Sentinel is an example SIEM that many companies are using. And SIEM actually stands for Security Information Event Management Tool. And the SIEM itself then has a set of correlation rules. And those correlation rules are looking for malicious activity in these logs. If it detects that malicious activity, it will generate an alert and send it to me or you as the cybersecurity analyst to review. And it's your job then to either escalate it as a cyber attack and work it as an incident, or then look to close it out as a false positive and improve this rule. So what these automation tools are looking to do then is, so for example, Talk, what Talk will do will sit usually in between the SIEM and the analyst. And what it'll look to do then is actually improve the efficiency of these alerts. So some of the alerts might actually be analyzed and triaged by the workflow automation tool like Talk, or it could also sit down here as well, like I said, where it could actually analyze the alert and potentially escalate only critical alerts, or once it's done specific analysis, it'll then send it to the analyst for review. So these kind of tools will start to cut out like level 1, level 2 analysts. There's even a chance that they could look to sit here and look to improve the rules. This might be a little bit more difficult, but at some point they likely will get to that stage. But at the moment, they're mostly reviewing a lot of the alerts, trying to close out low-level alerts, and even performing specific actions as well. So when the analyst reviews, where the analyst has reviewed the alert, it could automatically block an IP address, for example, or it could automatically analyze a certain part of the alert and then either escalate it or send it to, say, a level 3 or a level 4 analyst. So these tools are being integrated into security operations center environments, and these are workflow automation tools, and these are the kind of things that you want to learn because you want to start to understand. So obviously SIEM being a major tool, but now these tools are sitting on top of SIEMs to improve the workflows and improve the processes that are taking place in security operations centers. So that's usually important. Like I said, AI is already here. I'm working in security operations centers. There's even colleagues of mine who work in other companies, and all of these tools are coming through. So if you want to stay ahead, then you want to start to learn these tools. So next up then, you need to start to work with AI. So you need to understand that AI is already here, but you need to start to work with it as well. And as an analyst, I use ChatGPT, even Grok, on a daily basis to actually help with my analysis. And one way that I can do that is, for example, then if a phishing email has been received by an employee and I want to speed up the analysis of the email headers, I can grab those email headers. So as we can see here, I can grab these headers, paste them into something like Grok or ChatGPT and say, help me analyze these phishing email headers and let me know what you think. So these are the different ways that you can start to use a tool like ChatGPT or Grok to kind of help with the analysis of a specific alert that comes in. And I'm doing this on a daily basis. I'm always using these tools for analysis. It's actually really good for reviewing potentially malicious code. You can copy the code in here and it can pull out specific malicious strings that it notices in that actual code. And like you can see here with this phishing email, it's reviewing the actual headers, helping me understand, for example, the originating IP, helping me understand a lot more about this email so I can then analyze it further to determine if it is actually a phishing email or not. So again, we want to work with AI. It's only going to either replace us, or unless we work with it, then we're going to only be able to stay ahead, because ultimately the people who don't use artificial intelligence are the ones that are going to get left behind. If you can stay up to date with using these tools on a daily basis, integrating these into a security operations center environment, that's what's going to help you stand out. And even as a new person now coming through, this allows you to, this kind of resets the field, because ultimately everybody has to learn something new. I've been in cybersecurity for 9 years and I still need to learn these new tools. So if you come along and you're somebody without any experience, you understand how these tools work, how they can integrate in a security operations center environment, you'll be surprised that some companies might even pick you over somebody with experience who doesn't know these things. So yeah, this is one way you can analyze phishing emails. Another way is say that an employee has received an email and there's a suspicious PDF or potentially suspicious PDF. You can ask it to prompt me to analyze a potentially malicious PDF in my Kali Linux VM. Take it one step at a time and only ask me when I am ready to move on. So what this is going to do is just going to give me a kind of step-by-step guide. So ultimately, when you're analyzing different files, for example, executables, maybe Microsoft Word documents, spreadsheets, even PDFs, it's going to take different types of analysis techniques to be able to actually do that. And it's not always that easy to remember all of these, but you can use ChatGPT to kind of prompt you and be a guide to kind of help you through it. And you can do that. So what this is going to do is teach me how to actually install PDF parser, how to actually analyze the PDF. And these are the kind of things that can help speed up your analysis when you're in a kind of timed environment, because ultimately the quicker you respond to a potential malicious indicator, the quicker you can actually contain it and prevent an actual breach, for example. And this is how these tools like Grok and ChatGPT are used, and how I'm personally using them as a cybersecurity analyst on a daily basis. So the third point then, be a continuous learner of tech. So like I mentioned, I've been in cybersecurity for the last 9 years. Now, over the last year, about 2 years, this tech has now started to be integrated into a security operations center environment. So if I decided that I was scared of it, I don't want to try to learn tools like ChatGPT, artificial intelligence tools, LLM systems, for example, I don't want anything to do with them, then I'm only going to get left behind. In my company now, we're looking to kind of build out more kind of workflow automation tools, for example. If I decided that I didn't want to learn those, ultimately at some point I'm just going to be let go, because those AI tools are going to end up replacing a lot of the workflows that I was doing manually anyway. So it's better that I can learn how to actually build these workflows and build kind of my new job, really, where I'm going from more kind of analysis as a cybersecurity analyst more into kind of the engineering side. But that's what it takes in tech. Everything is constantly changing, and now AI is moving at a rapid pace. Of course, security operations centers want to capitalize on that. They want to use more automation, not only to reduce costs, but also to improve the response to specific threats as well. So don't be scared of a challenge. Like I said, I've been in cybersecurity for 9 years. I have to embrace this. Like I mentioned, the one benefit of this is that it's kind of resetting the whole playing field, because new people now can come in. You can learn a lot of these skills. And if, for example, I hadn't learned them, if I was interviewing you and I was interviewing somebody with 9 years worth of experience who hadn't kept up to date, they were kind of just plodding along, compared to somebody like yourself, no experience, but they know the latest tools, they understand how they're integrated in a security operations center environment, I'm more likely going to pick that person. So it obviously all does depend, but there will be companies that will prefer to get that experience over somebody who's just got 9 years worth of experience but hasn't kept up to date. And finally then, point 4 then, build human skills that AI can't touch. So AI tools can do so much, but humans will always be needed. And that's going to be the same in cybersecurity. It could change, but I think at the moment and the next few years, I think humans combined with AI is what's going to be the most effective. So things like creativity, communication and teamwork, a lot of these things can't be done by AI. Maybe the creativity side, but there is still a human touch that is often a little bit better. Even in a security operations center environment, for example, Grok and ChatGPT They're not always the best at maybe even doing certain analysis, for example. This will get better over time, but at the moment, being creative in a kind of security operations center sense isn't kind of the forte of some of these tools. D3 Security is trying to change that by focusing on the security operations center, even Tynes, for example. But there's still a lot of need for human activity and human input, and communication and teamwork, of course, that the AI tool can only communicate so much. But ultimately, to work as part of a team and communicate well, then you need to kind of learn these skills yourself. For example, different job types then, so working in strategy, governance, instant response. So that's something that I work in. I think it would be quite difficult at the moment for an AI tool to completely respond and close out a specific incident, for example. It may get to the point where it will get better, but even kind of like handover calls to other employees or other instant response specialists who can carry on the incident after you, these kind of things do still require the human touch. Even a lot of the analysis can be prompted with AI, but a lot of the kind of thought pattern about where the attacker might have gone to, where, especially in a kind of more custom security operations center, these kind of things that still required by a human, for example. Your DevSecOps, level 4 SOC analysts, the kind of more specialist roles then are still kind of tailored more towards kind of the human touch. But as I say, I think all of these roles could still benefit from having a specific AI tool as a companion, which is where I think the Security Operations Center and cybersecurity industry is actually moving. So this is what I mean. Everything is not going to be AI based. People are still going to want that human touch, but you need to remember that you still need to be able to build these skills. So learn how to work in a team, learn how to communicate better, look at more specialist roles. It's all about staying ahead, and that's the ultimate benefit and drawback of tech. You have to stay constantly on the bleeding edge of what comes out, and that can often bring on a lot of stress, that can often bring on a lot of kind of doubt, but ultimately it also gives you the benefit of being able to stay in a job and stay in a role that is often high paying and consistently stay employed over the next few years as well. So see the benefits in it, review the drawbacks in working in tech, but ultimately I think the benefits actually do outweigh it. So these are the kind of things that you need to start learning if you want to stay ahead and make sure that you build those human skills that AI can't touch. So AI is reshaping cybersecurity, but I actually think this is a good thing. It's going to give beginners who don't have any experience the ability to learn these new up-to-date AI tools and stay ahead of other candidates in the cybersecurity industry. And I think it's resetting the cybersecurity platform that will allow more beginners to stand out. So what you need to go and do now is start to understand how these AI workflow tools like Tynes and Talk are integrated in a security operations center environment. Make sure that you're a continuous learner so that you know what new tools are coming out, how they're impacting cybersecurity professionals. And ultimately, don't forget to build those human skills like communication and teamwork, because this is also going to help you stand out as well. So I want to say thank you for watching. If you are interested in watching more videos about artificial intelligence in cybersecurity, go and watch this video next, where I'll give you some projects related to cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. Thank you for watching. I'll see you over there.